We black in the house. I'm getting right back on that road of African education. Black power is the General Sarasu Seti, and I'm black at y'all ass again with this real fucking talk. Black power. We in the house again. Ain't no stop. Okay? Y'all niggas watch Atlanta hip hop and all freaky wives and all that shit and all. Today you gotta get some African education. Okay, you gotta get you some African education today. Time to put all that dumb shit up on the shelf. Don't even get it off the shelf no more. It's all about education and moving forward. You see what the dumb shit get us. You know what I'm saying? We see it. We see it. We see what we're going through right now at this moment. Okay, let me get the monitor up. Let me get the monitor up so we could go to work. Give family enough time to get in the house. It's gonna be a very powerful black power. Black power. What's going on? Give family a couple of minutes, and I gotta keep moving because we got a powerful night tonight. You feel me? Got a very powerful night. And ain't nothing, and all of this is hard body. Ain't nothing soft. I don't never come soft. Anytime you see me, I didn't believe me. I done been up working on all this. That's why this last video took so it didn't take, because the information was so powerful. You know what I'm saying? I've been working on this particular video. Family got to understand. I don't come up here to give y'all no bullshit. I come up here. If I come up here, believe me, I done spent days on this shit. I done already been, but I didn't. I'm talking when I say days, I work from sun up to sun down. That's how I get down. I do my family thing, this, that, and the third. But for the most part, I'm working to make sure that when I come on here the next time, I'm taking you somewhere else. A lot of niggas say, they're gonna take you up one lane. No, I ain't gonna take. I'm gonna take you up down all the lane because I'm going with you. You going with me, and I'm going with you. And so, I do the research to put up here. You understand what I'm saying? So we, as an African community, have the most profound blueprint of anybody on the goddamn planet. That's what I'm telling you. You understand? So these four videos, again, I'm moving and I'm gonna be moving. You understand what I'm saying? Because I'm not really that far behind, but I want to be moving because I'm supposed to be on the general setting at, in about an hour. And that's what I'm going to get y'all on this one. And it's profound. Okay? And when you get up off here, get ready to do some research because it's going to take you somewhere. Okay? Matter of fact, let me not wait too much long. Let me not wait too much long. Let me get family up here on my monitor. Y'all in the house. All right. Y'all say I went in on be in the house later on, and I'm gonna show you how the Catholics and the Jews built the mosque of Mecca. Watch what it tells you. And I better not hear a Muslim say nothing, but Assalamu alaikum, brother, said you really put the work in on our ass, and ain't nothing I can say. Let me go on in here and get these stone circle calendars, ancient clocks of Africa. Let's get this going, family. We're in the house. Ain't gonna hold it up. Boom. We're in the house. Okay, Adam's calendar. And I don't even like, but this, if you go pull it up on the internet, you understand this is what you're gonna get. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want you to go look for it and don't find it. Nah, this is in South Africa. And what we got to understand is that even, taking it from the sky, that there's these, circular, areas. And, I was listening to Credo Matua, a shaman of South Africa, where he said that, that these were city enclosures. You understand what I'm saying? But there's over thousands, of these circles, you understand, throughout South Africa, made of stone. You know what I'm saying? You got the white boys out here and they creating all these falsehoods. I'm gonna get that video for you. Where the African shaman going in on the white boy for lying. Always trying to go above and beyond what they know about Africa, creating falsehood so that you wouldn't know what these circle enclosures were. You know what I'm saying? Now, like I say, as you go across Africa, they're going to have dual, have dual responsibilities. Some of them are burials, some of them are calendars and clocks. You understand what I'm saying? Some of them are living quarters, just like when you get in Great Zimbabwe. So when you look down here and in South Africa, you understand what I'm saying? From the sky, you can see how they interconnected. And like I say, there's over thousands of them. So when you look at them, you say, well, damn, that almost look like Great Zimbabwe. Okay, and if you ever, and once we lay it out so you can see, even when you're looking from the top of Stonehenge, you understand what I'm saying? There's no doubt about who put it there. Wasn't no European, the goddamn British only gave, when you talk about the Celts and all of that, they were savage at the time of the fucking Romans coming in, who were savages, okay? And so if you was a savage to the Roman, you was show enough a savage, because they were savages, okay? So we don't want to, be fooled by any line history that any European had anything to do with the megaliths. They didn't have nothing to do with the megaliths. None of them Indians or nothing. All of the megalithic structures on this planet were put there by the African. Okay, and like I say, we so ancient that we don't understand that how many eras then came and went. You understand what I'm saying? And an era could be, 50,000, 25,000 years. But being on this planet from time immemorial, African people are the only people on the planet legitimately could say we've been here 1,000,000 years. Okay, and so when you looking at these circular enclosures, they gonna throw all kind of dates out there in which they do not know, but they want to keep it in the frame of where the European can control the information. You understand what I'm saying? And like I say, as Dr. Ben taught me, as you go into the Great Lakes region of Africa, which they, criminally renamed Lake Victoria, then you got Lake Tanzania, Lake Tanganyika. Okay, Lake Tanganyika, then you got Lake Malawi, then you got criminally renamed Lake Albert. Then in Ethiopia, you got Lake Tana. You see what I'm saying? African people went south before they went north. Okay, so long before Egypt, long before Nubia, our people was in South Africa, in the southern regions of Africa. You see what I'm saying? And so when you start to look at, I'm gonna show you some of the hieroglyphs, and when you start looking at the calendar, the astronomical calendar, cosmological calendar in Dendera, what you looking at is in essence is the advanced symbolisms of these more ancient stone structures that were also calendars and clocks. You understand what I'm saying? So by the time you got down into Egypt, you didn't had hundreds of thousands of years of advancement and development. But this is where the real work took place. You understand what I'm saying? Because most of the constellations and I went over that during the time when we was dealing with the holidays and this, that, and the third, and you dealing with the stars, and you got to understand that we celebrate certain holidays that ain't even in our hemisphere. When you're talking about the southern hemisphere, the the polarities flip. So where you got the summer solstice in the north, that's technically, even though there is no winter in Africa, we got to get rid of that. All continents don't have the same seasons. So in Africa, it's hot and hotter. Ain't no damn winter. It's just a rainy season. You see what I'm saying? So when you're talking about the stars and you're talking about most of the more powerful constellations, even the Milky Way is in the southern hemisphere. And you cannot truly see those constellations unless you below the equator. You understand what I'm saying? So even when we talking about Egypt was aligned with the Milky Way and Orion, even Orion's belt is in the southern hemisphere. You understand what I'm saying? So when you talking about that the Europeans just got to the beginning of the Nile in the 1800s, and you know the Romans, and they did not have the experience to understand the shit that they stole. You understand what I'm saying? They didn't have the experience. They didn't have the ability to look in the southern hemisphere and study these stars for hundreds of thousands of years and master these constellations like that. So when you're looking at the Dogon who knew of the Sirius B that was behind Sirius A, that the European didn't even see it into the goddamn 1900s when they got constellations, they don't understand that we've been around these great years so many times that we done seen all the star systems from all sides possible of the 360-degree circle. We done seen all where the front will become the back and the back will become the front. So today we can't see Sirius B because Sirius A is so bright. But if you stay on the 360-degree revolution of the sun and the earth, at one point in time, the front will become the back and Sirius B will be in the front, and you will be able to see Sirius B from the front and acknowledge that the star exists. And they wonder how in the hell was we able to see that star without a telescope, because we done been around the whole circumference of the great year. And we don't know exactly how many years that was, but we know that could go into the tens of thousands of years. And how many times have we been around a great year? So we have the experience, even though we done lost a lot of it, it's in our DNA. And so that's why we got to tap into the DNA of our ancestors. Then take the leap, take a guess. You understand? Because you're not guessing from like a European, because you have the ability. The guess alone might unlock the truth inside of you that will lead you down to all the relevant, information that will finally bring the truth, in totality. You understand? The guess alone may lead you there and lead you in the right direction to make those, the great attempt, and bring you to the reality. And so again, this is one of those circular rock stone structures in South Africa. Okay, and you can see it's much like Great Zimbabwe. Okay, so now we making that cultural continuity. We're making that cultural continuity. We was in Zimbabwe. We looked at Kami. We looking at Great Zimbabwe, which is still in the southern aspects of Africa, but it's a little further north. It's a little further north than South Africa. Okay, now this is Great Zimbabwe. Okay, now this is not necessarily Adam's clock. I don't want to think, because there's thousands. Do you hear what I'm trying to tell you? There's hundreds of thousands of these circle structures. Now some of them, the rocks, are not as high as particularly this one. And then we're going to go into West Africa and show you that is also in West Africa. Matter of fact, family, I'm going to show you, if many of us in Florida or whatever, I know in Miami, they found a circular structure. You understand? We just saw the one that was in Yemen. You understand what I'm saying? So this showing you the African cultural continuity and African spirituality and astronomical sacred geometry that's all over the goddamn planet. Ain't no European nowhere to be found. And so I'm sick of all these Robert Bouvals and all these goddamn Sham, Graham, Hancock. He's a sham, Hancock, Graham, whatever you want to. Stop using these Europeans. They do not know what the fuck they talking about. And I could get you Credo Matua, who crushed one of them white boys, opened up his book, went all in there where he lying about this, that, and the third. How the fuck you know when you was crawling on all folks? Huh? You want to act like, and at the time we were using this calendar and this clock, you was up in the caves walking on all fours. So we got to close the doors on these Europeans still in our history and line. So again, if you're looking from, you can see, and even though the designs are not necessarily same, and Credo broke it down, and I'll most definitely get you, I'll come back and put a link to Credo where he breaks this down more profoundly. I don't want to go in and necessarily say exactly what it is, you know, because he know more, but in cultural, it's all this. Understand these are sacred geometry where these circles are aligned to astronomical constellations and stars. You understand what I'm saying? Some are sacred burials, some are living quarters, none the same. So if you look, and if a stone was raised in South Africa, it would look no different than what you see in Zimbabwe. You understand what I'm saying? And so again, you know, our peoples are aligning these structures to constellations and to stars. You understand what I'm saying? Mostly, if not all, African structures are aligned to cosmological locations. You understand what I'm saying? So the family is always aware of what time it is, not just on the planet, but in the universe. We got to know you got a 24-hour clock, then you got a monthly clock, then you got a yearly clock, then you got, you know, epochs, where, you know, a clock for epochs, where, you know, you might not necessarily know exactly what time it is, but many of them alignments is where, you know, a certain you know, sequence can probably only happen every 10,000 years. Some sequences are never, probably won't happen, but every 25,000 years. So if an ancestor leave a record, you know, of that particular sequence, you can most definitely, you know, bring about a date, you know, within, you know, a 10,000 or 20, where it had to be no less than 25,000 years when they recorded this. And if you go back to, that's 50,000 years. And you know this because these sequences only happen every 25,000 years, or they happen only every 10,000 years, or they happen only every 5,000 years. Some sequences only happen every 2,000, and this is based on the alignment of certain stars, just like Halley's Comet only come through every 75,000 years, where there's astronomical bodies, and you know that, you know, a sequence, an alignment of 3 or more stars only happen every 10,000 years. And when that alignment happens, they shine through these areas at a particular time, and it will hit a certain stone to let them know that that's the date. You understand what I'm saying? They know what time it is. You know, and so we have to go back and talk to our people who can really explain this to us far deeper than what I'm doing right now. I'm giving you a generalized to get you, I'm taking you on the right path to get to where you want to go in deeper research. You know, everything we doing, we just opening our eyes because we've been, you know, this information been here from us so long, but we cannot let European people lead us in the wrong direction. That's what we cannot do. And so here it is, the Miami Circle, where they went down there and they found artifacts. And, you know, they was about to build all type of, you know, apartments and, you know, multi-million-dollar apartments and everything. And they had to stop it because they found artifacts here. You understand what I'm saying? In a circular, you know, enclosure. You understand? You find in these circles all, now some are bigger than others. You understand what I'm saying? But somebody knows something about us that we don't know about ourselves. And we better find out what the hell it is, because we see it all over the planet. showing you that that's us. You know, when you have, you know, DNA, this is cultural DNA that we see all over the planet. We know it's us. It ain't no goddamn, you think people just up and goddamn making circles all over the goddamn planet? You understand what I'm saying? Like little kids without no understanding of what they doing and no cultural continuity. That's just like the world is on one calendar. Most of the world is on one calendar now. They synchronize. You got to understand that the family that you see with all these circles is synchronized culturally all over the planet. And so here you see right here, Stonehenge. And you cannot give a crack enough, no credit for none of it. And I mean that right now to the bottom of my heart, because even when the goddamn Romans went into Britain, the Celts was running around butt naked with paint on their bodies, savages. And that's what the Romans record. I don't want you to say, said it. I'm saying it anyway, because I know it to be true. But the Romans, they themselves, when they went to the British Isle, they said the Celts was over there running around butt naked in the motherfucking woods with paint on their body. They didn't know what, they were savages. So you're not going to get them, and they were shooting little arrows and shit and, you know, doing crazy shit. They wasn't doing nothing of no high culture. Okay, the Romans was the first ones that came in with some culture that they stole from Africa. Okay, and so that was there before they got there. Okay, so I don't want to hear nothing about no European. These is the same structures that you're seeing in South Africa. These is the same structures. And I want y'all to understand that. Okay, now this is what they call the Lindenberg head. I'm tired of, again, they always name, there ain't no goddamn Lindenberg in Africa. Sick of that shit. You know, always putting some European names on some African artifacts. We got to quit this. We got to go in there and rename all, and until then we know that we have to carve out a name so we could get the understanding if we put it on Google. But it got to come a time where we don't call our African artifact by no European name. This shit got to stop. Ain't no Lake Victorias in Africa. Ain't no Lake Alberts in Africa, or none of that. So you see right here the so-called criminally renamed Lindenberg head, which are the earliest known examples of African sculpture in Southern Africa. And they go back about 1000 BC. They even got in South Africa, and I got to get their area where they got a foot in the side of a damn megalithic rock. You understand what I'm saying? Areas that we don't even know about. Now, I ain't into the giant shit, but goddamn, who put that foot in there? Did our people carve it in there? You understand what I'm saying? Did they carve it in there? We don't know, but it's one of those mysteries of Africa that cause you, when you get down there, if you're in the area and you're in South Africa and you buy way, you know, and I see many people go to this area, just, you know, and it's tall as a human being. That ain't no little foot. You know, I see people standing next to it. It's about 6 feet. You know what I'm saying? That foot right there. So we talking about hidden gems in Africa. We ain't talking about the pyramid. We're not talking about Lalibela. We're talking about some real, you know, astronomical gems. You know what I'm saying? And when you see the blueprint of them all over Africa, you know, and all over the world, you're saying, wow, how is this possible that we could be so ancient that to where Egypt, you know, look like, which it is modern history. When you, even though Egypt is ancient to the rest of the world, Egypt compared to civilizations in South Africa is modern history. Egypt is modern history compared to South Africa. Okay? And so again, here's another, you know, and they all got different patterns. You know what I'm saying? So we got to go in, we got to study the patterns. You know, you know how our people's is with the sacred geometry from Ghana and all over Africa. We good with the sacred geometry. So we got to get with the credo Metuwa and get down there with the shaman. You understand why they here, and get this wisdom and sit down with them and sit down with our people all over Africa and study and see what's the deeper meaning, so we not fooled any longer. Get the European out of our nations. Get the European out of Africa. It's ban the European from teaching African history. We got to ban them from that because that brings confusion. Again, I must say it again. And if you come back to this video, I'm going to put the link to Credo the shaman, South African shaman, where he destroyed the white boy, say, and point out all of what he was lying about. And you know, there's and another thing, there's roads leading from each one of these stone enclosures, roads. And Credo was saying these was roads for elephants. And see, there's a myth out saying that African elephants cannot be tamed. Credo shot that shit down. He said that's bullshit. You understand? The African had tamed the African. Now the Indian elephant is a more docile elephant. So when you step to that African elephant, your ass better be about that life, because your ass will be a pancake, because they have no problem in crushing you. So the European cannot tame the African elephant, but Credo said that you can tame the African elephant. And you know, many of these enclosures don't have a doorway to it. You understand what I'm saying? And so the white boy made up a lie about, you know, some aliens and shit, and Credo said the elephant, it was what means the elephant that you entered into these, you know, these circular enclosures. And you got to hear it from him. And I say, damn it, I fell upon that video last night, and I was needing it, because I was so sick in my heart of always hearing these European people tell these, you know, and then he get down to the site, and you know that he didn't win right. And Credo even spoke about certain statues was there. And if I had never seen the video by Credo crushing the cracker, explaining what it was, you know, I knew not to, you know, believe him, but damn, you know what I'm saying? In my spirit, it led me right to the video, because I needed something to fill that void. I said, why is this European? And they don't even give African people no credit of civilization. Damn near, you could go into a European book right now, and they'll tell you that the only people on the planet that don't have a civilization is African people. And here it is, anytime they find something, here comes some goddamn crazy, kooky ass cracker trying to explain African history, and you just didn't even, you denied us history. And now you want to come in and you wasn't even there. And then he come in and explain the shit as if he's the author of it. We got to get him up out of there, family. So now even when you looking at the symbol for Ra in the what we call the Egyptian hieroglyph, what many of y'all call the Madu Netta, we ain't gonna get into that, but we see the sun in the middle and we see the circle. So we got to understand that this was symbolic of the ancient stone structures that was in South Africa and in the southern periphery of Africa. These was the beginning calendars and clocks that our people used to chart the stars and chart time. You see what I'm saying? And by the time it got to Egypt, it had advanced to a certain level where we were writing and so on. So this was the glyph that was symbolic of these stone structures. And I'm gonna show you right where that damn Vatican City, and they got the obelisk in the middle. Where that dot is in Ra, many times that's where they place the obelisk. And then during the course of the day, the shadow that comes off of that obelisk will show you a 360-degree clock in the daytime. Now in the nighttime, you know, you don't have, I don't even know, they might have developed it where you can see the shadow at night. I don't know. But I know in the sun, when from sun up to sundown, when that sun hit that obelisk, based on the shadow, and they had degrees on the ground. And then they developed it where they had a ruler, you know what I'm saying, to where the shadow hit off of that obelisk, and based on where the shadow was on the ruler, they could tell exactly what time of day it was. Right here, so you see stone here. Now, these are some of the stones down in South Africa. This is a more constructed circle. Okay, there's many circles where the stones been knocked down, and I believe the European went over there and knocked them down so you wouldn't see the greatness of our people. You understand what I'm saying? But you can see the level, and then noticing, you know, I seen one video where these make a certain tone. Each one, if you hit it, it'll make, you know, so they, you know, these is harmonious energy, provoking type of structure, and I don't want to get all off into that. You understand what I'm saying? In the way that I'm some specialist, but I'm damn sure gonna be studying because I seen them when they hit it. Each stone made a different sound. You know what I'm saying? So there's some energy, there's some sound energy connection to this. And I don't want to get mystical and magical, but I understand that our people were very diverse in the many sciences and art. So one, monument, one, artifact could have many dimensions to it. You understand what I'm saying? So we want to study all the dimensions of what, our ancestors put down. And here again, these are many other, stone circles. Now, all of them weren't constructed the same way, but they all made a particular circle and they had some diagram that was connected to it. And I know how we tell, tales, not only through, writing, but through sacred geometry, even with the kente cloth, the diagram that's in the kente cloth. Our peoples can look at the kente cloth and tell a story. You understand? We tell stories with the drum. You know what I'm saying? So we tell stories through many different aspects of our culture. Let me come Nabta, Playa, Nubia. Now, I had to bring this out. See, this is a 24-hour clock. So when I show you Washington Monument and I show you that St. Peter's Square, you're going to see that those are clocks. You understand? But they got it from our people. So when you see this obelisk there, now this was the most advanced, clock at the time of ancient Egypt. Now the Egyptians took it to a whole because of look at what the early research of their ancestors and our ancestors have been doing in South Africa hundreds of thousands of years before it got to Egypt. So when you understand Egypt, you got to understand Egypt is South Africa. Egypt could not have been without all of the early research and all the early documentation of the ancestors in the South. Egypt knew that. They never denied. It's these Europeans and these Arabs and these Indians and these fake ass people trying to steal our culture. But we got to stand on the front line at all times defending it for our babies. We cannot allow them to steal the. That's just like the work you put in today and the work I put in today. We putting it in for our babies. We can't have nobody come and steal the work and we spend our whole life working and toiling. What do we do? We're doing it for our babies. And so that's what our ancestors was doing. So it's a crime to our people to allow all that energy to be stolen and other peoples to take the credit when our ancestors knew that they was putting it down for us today. And we got to step up and respect that spirituality and the connection to our ancestors and defend the culture. Now, this is not the Playa again. So you saying this is in Nubia. Let me see. Let me wear the map at or where Nabta Playa at. So I can get it up here. Here you go. Should have had it more closer to the top. Let me get it up here. Get right back. So you see Nabta Playa, you see it's right there on that yellow line where it says Sudan. So again, we're going in the South. We're going in the South. And motherfucker, we were just talking about this when I went into when they was talking about Mayan and goddamn it, we can show that everything that is in goddamn it thousands of years and hundreds of thousands of years older than any fucking thing on the South American goddamn continent. Damn Mayan calendar or any other goddamn calendar. What the fuck is they talking about, man? Our people, some of our people, man, they'll say anything out the side of their goddamn mouth. You understand? You don't even know don't even know a damn tenth of the damn truth. You understand? Out here and spitting that bullshit. And here we got proof that the Southern Africans preceded ancient. And so this is where Egypt came from. And you see, Egypt is the last civilization on the Nile River. And you got to understand that South Africa is the South Africans and all our people in Southern Africa, what started the Nile Valley civilization. Then they, after they, pioneered the South and civilization expanded in the South, then they moved down the river. Then they start coming into Ethiopia and into the into Sudan and down into Egypt. Now you understand. Quit trying lying, talking about some goddamn fake shit, Lemuria and Atlanta and Atlantis and all this silly shit. Trying to take the credit away from my ancestors and give it to some mythological bullshit. Okay, so you see Nabta Playa, you know what I'm saying, right there in Sudan, in Nubia. And when you look at it, you got to understand this is right there is Stonehenge. And even though every area on the planet, you got degree, longitude, and latitude, whatever these alignments are connected to, we might not necessarily know, but we understand that they're clocks. We understand they're astronomical, cosmological clocks. And when we see the pattern from South Africa all the way up into Europe, all the way over into the goddamn Americas, okay? We're not playing no games. We, don't take no science. We all are African scientists. But you don't have to go to school to be a great scientist of African wisdom. You don't get no degree from no other people. You get your degree on research in your goddamn community. You don't need you can't get a degree from somebody that ain't even African, you fool. How the hell you gonna get a degree in African history from a European? What kind of goddamn simple shit is that? You better wake up. You better wake up. So when you look at the Olmec calendar, ain't no Mayan calendar. That's an Olmec calendar, which ain't and so when you look at dendrite, these are only the pictorial, you understand, images of the stone circle, structures, the development, but they didn't develop. And so when you look inside if you look inside a dendrite, you can see the location. You understand what I'm saying? Of certain netters or certain guys and so on and so forth. So are we to assume that at those stone structures that the stones were aligned in many instances where these netters were aligned? We don't know. We just seeing right now. You understand? But we got to do the research, and it'll take thousands and thousands, but we could do it. We could do it. We did it once. We could do it a goddamn again. We got to start somewhere. In the first place, we got to throw all the bullshit that we've been taught to believe. You got to throw that shit out in the garbage. You got to believe in yourself. And most of the time, if you're getting a strong platform, I'm giving you a strong platform. You studying, and then I'm giving you the other master teachers, and you studying them. You got it within you to make an educational guess. And God damn it, I swear to God, I'd rather roll with my brother and sister educational guests if they strong with the research than roll with any motherfucking thing a European has ever said. You understand what I'm saying? Because I know the spirituality of my people, and I know that they understand how our people think. You got to understand how our people think before you start trying to explain inventions and they architecture and so on, because the spirituality is also intertwined in that. And if you don't have African spirituality, how the fuck you gonna explain it? Let me keep it moving, family. So this is the Nabta Playa alignment. So now we looked at, the South African, and they got their diagrams. You got to understand, everybody ain't gonna have the same diagram because we're in different areas of the planet. You understand what I'm saying? So these alignments, we understand are astronomical and cosmological, and it shows us that proof positive. Our people had mastered the stars, hundreds of thousands, and that's allowed us to move across these oceans. You understand what I'm saying? You don't understand that. That would allow us to move because we had mapped the star, and we had navigated the circumference of the planet Earth. We had went all the way around. We had went to every continent. This shit you call longitude and latitude, African people had done this shit 100,000 years ago. So we could move across this planet comfortably. And that's why you see civilizations on different continents was interconnected, culturally, spiritually, transporting and exporting and all kind of trade across all the oceans because they mastered the stars. Okay, not the player calendar circle reconstructed at Aswan Nubia Museum. So this is in Nubia, and as I showed y'all, the graves of the Nubians, that predated the dynastic Egyptians, that go right along with that, showing you that Nubia existed before Egypt. Nubia is the mother of Egypt. So quit trying to say somebody came from over, and we can show exactly who the mother, and Ethiopia is the mother of Nubia. You understand? And you go up and further, the Southern Africans are the mothers and fathers of all Nubia, Ethiopia, and Egypt. You see what I'm saying? And that's why, again, when you talk about Ethiopia, a lot of people look at the Haile Selassie, which are African people, but people got to understand there's over 120 some odd ethnicities and different nations within, tribal, I don't even want to say tribe, because that just lessen our people, but different, ethnic communities and African communities within Ethiopia, outside of the Haile Selassie types. And you know what I'm saying? I must say that. And so when people look at it, they think that that's all that it is. No, Ethiopia is a broad, ethnic background. You know what I'm saying? With many, many different types of African people, all indigenous to Africa. They've never been any other place other than Africa. All coming from one mother. Okay, all coming from one mother. So again, when you're looking at Washington Monument, now you see the circle around and you see the shadow that the obelisk is throwing off. So that again showing you that this is another aspect. Now this is a 24-hour clock, but the other ones, in South Africa where you got different alignments, they are aligned to certain astrological constellations and different epochs. You understand? So they know it. So that's a more longer calendar. You understand what I'm saying? That's a more specific calendar that's aligned to certain constellations and stars that may be sacred to that particular people. You understand what I'm saying? But we can show here the circle, and you understand we show you the obelisk, you understand, showing you that we can show what time it is on a 24-hour clock, what time it is based on the shadow and the location of the shadow along the circle. So when you look at, again, to the right, that's Nabta Playa. And so that put that up there, and that don't necessarily mean to put that there to show you, because many people quit Orion. That's all right. We understand the sacredness of Orion, you know what I'm saying? But that's just become like a habit. People say Orion, and you don't know what it is. You know what I'm saying? And we throw shit up, and if we fool ourselves that it is this, it could be something totally different that we don't know about. So we got to always leave ourselves open for research. Let me keep it moving. Now we're going to Wasu Senegambia Stone Circle. Now this is on the West Coast, family. This is on the West Coast. Now we went from South Africa. We went into Nubia, which is on the East Coast. We went to Stonehenge, which is on the West Coast. It's on which is on the West Coast of Europe. And so we in Senegambia, and you see that it's about, I don't know how many areas, but they date them to 300 BC to around 1600 AD. So we already sure, and if we understand, that these circles are, aligned to constellations, and understand, we think of West Africa as just, far behind East Africa, which is a goddamn lie. I got the facts that even though East Africa may be, hundreds of thousands of years old, West Africa is hundreds of thousands of years old too. You understand what I'm saying? And though East Africa is older than West Africa is still older than any aspect of anywhere else on the planet. That our people populated Africa first before they went anywhere else. So West Africa is hundreds of thousands of years old. Do not be fooled. Do not be fooled. And like I say, when you look at the circle that we about to see, you see the cultural continuity between Africa as a whole. You understand what I'm saying? So here we go, family. Among the four main areas, this is in the Senegambia, there are, listen to me, approximately 29,000 stones, 17,000 monuments, and 2,000 individual sites. So right here, Wasu, let's check this out, family. You can see it from the sky. You see the circles? Now they got thousands of these. I say, wow, man. Well, how we didn't know this? How we didn't know this, family? Look at it from the sky. So you can see some, some circles again, and they have different diagrams. They ain't all the same. Some of them are different. And some of them, you can see how tall they were. And you can imagine, having thousands of these. You know what I'm saying? You can see the little boy there. So I'm thinking they was at least 6, 7 feet. You know what I'm saying? They didn't, over the course of time, you can see either they've been fell down or knocked down. You know what I'm saying? And I could believe that because European peoples and Arabs are some nasty people when they come to respecting other people's culture. So they'll knock some shit down in a minute. You see what I'm saying? And so you imagine, over 2,000 of these sites. You know what I'm saying? Here we go again. Here we go again. So I don't want nobody to say that people, are not one people, though we got our uniqueness and though we got our differences. When you look at this and you understand the science, the sacred science of the stone circles, and even going into Egypt, this is a cultural continuity that connects African people all over the continent. We one people. Stop trying to divide. Yes, let's respect and love each ethnic expression of who we are. That's what make us like, the quilt, the African quilt, or the, the different kente cloth, where you got different diagrams on all the cloth, but that's African people. We different, but yet and still we woven together. You understand? And that's what makes it so beautiful. You understand? And so, 1,000, and then if I'm not mistaken here, there are some burials. There are some burials, and and it is different. And so you can imagine all of these stone circles, what they align to astronomically, and being, that's 2,000 sites. I mean, you done mastered the stars. You know what I'm saying? Our people had a very extensive understanding of cosmology and astronomy. So now when you're on the West Coast, they quick to show the damn the slave forts. And we didn't know about this. We didn't know about this in Burkina Faso. You know what I'm saying? These circular. Now we at the Loro Penny ruins. Okay. Now that's this is Senegambia. Now we're in Burkina Faso. Okay. And so you got this stone enclosure, and it was forts, and they got many more forts out there. You understand what I'm saying? In Burkina Faso. You know what I'm saying? And this is the best one. And so when you come here, you can see, just like in on the East Coast in Great Zimbabwe. You see what I'm saying? Look at these walls. These walls look like they're about 15 feet. Damn, they're 20 feet. And I happened to look at this, and this was a part of a wall, and it looked like it was in a cone shape, and it looked very similar to the cone shape at Great Zimbabwe. Now you can look at it for yourself, judge it for yourself. But when I saw it, because I, studying, I take my guess and I throw, and then I come, and usually I'm right, because I'll go behind myself and do the research, and then come to find out there's many other Africans that see it just like I see it, and explain, even though I haven't heard it. And that made me just, I'm always good at, when you're a researcher, you're an explorer, you're also an adventurer. And so you got to be ready to throw that ball, and throw it. And make sure, and hopefully, you're not throwing it just you've been, you knowing you've seen it somewhere else. It looks close to, you throw that ball, and I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, you're correct. You're correct. Okay, and so you can see the brother there, and he got to be at least 5, 6 feet. So that wall is at least 3 times him. You know what I'm saying? It's at least 3 times what he is. You see what I'm saying? So that wall got to be at least 20 feet high. And we seen how, the extent, look how, that's a mighty fort. That ain't no little fort at all. The wall around, that's no little, that took manpower to put it there. You see what I'm saying? That took a lot of manpower to put it there. So if you're in Burkina Faso, you want to see the Loro Penny ruins, and then, like I say, I can only give you a little bit, but believe you me, it's more artifacts. There are more monuments in these African, even the smallest one that you don't know about. And so that's why I had to come out here and show you these, to show you like it's more than great pyramids. And though those are a great monument, there are other monuments of spiritual connection that we need to go and see. And though a monument may be megalithic, this, that, and the third, it does not negate the spiritual connection that you can make with the small, just the little stone circles. You can make man, you probably step in that circle and your ass probably shoot through the stars. You don't know. So it could be the smallest, African monument or artifact that you connect to, that open up a portal in your spirit, your soul, and your mental plane. So don't, let's not get caught up in all of the, the big megalith. So family, that was the last one, the Loro Penny ruins in Burkina Faso. Let me come on up out of that. So I did a lot of work, family. I did a lot of work to get y'all, and like I say, that's what I'm gonna be looking for. In case y'all want to go to some African nations, and I'm gonna get that out there. We're gonna start looking at these nations, see what's popping, see what cities is popping. Me and my wife was looking at Nigeria last night, and listen, Nigeria got it popping. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of areas in Nigeria that got it popping. You know what I'm saying? So do not get it twisted. When you talking about, going somewhere, be courageous. Shit, you living over here and these motherfuckers treating you like, be courageous. You get a hold of something, you got a blueprint where you trying to put a couple dollars together where you can go on over into Africa, you know what I'm saying? Or somewhere to get the fuck away from these motherfuckers and think about Africa, and we're going to look at some cities, look at the progressive cities of Africa, what they doing, and how we could go over there and make some type of, commitment to Africa and go live. Shit. You know what I'm saying? It ain't all just about living without having to worry about some damn beasts. You understand what I'm saying? Doing our people any kind of way. You know what I'm saying? So family, I love you. Listen, I'm on my way to General SETI. It's no stopping. I've been doing research on all, and when I get to this one on the Catholics and the Jews constructing Mecca, you gonna hear motherfuckers cry, oh, SETI done busted us, oh, and then they done busted us. You understand what I'm saying? I got the hardcore facts. So go on over there to General SETI's page. I'll be there in about 10, 15. Let me get some water, get some tea. You understand? I'm going to shock the mind. And then the last, Patah, thank you, brother, for being on the scene. I know y'all can't hang with me all night, but, when I do my research, I'll be ready to drop. Boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm saying? This is General SETI page. This Sarah Soon SETI page. This BPC. You understand what I'm saying? The flagship of African wisdom and knowledge on the planet. You understand what I'm saying? Pushing African science harder than any other platform anywhere on the planet, and been doing it now for over 15, 20 years. Okay, we ain't new. We've been cracking head. And if it wasn't for BPC and General SETI, many of these niggas that's out here today wouldn't be out here. These niggas still borrowing from the general. And when you're the best, that's all you can do. And you know what I'm saying? I'm going to leave it there. All right, family, let me go on and get ready so we can continue to wake our people up profoundly. Going over there to General SETI. If you ain't subscribed, you better subscribe. Hit notification, and I'll be live in about 10 minutes. I'm not going to wait because I'm on fire, and I don't want to settle down. I'm ready to start a ruckus. All right, family. Peace.